She stood there, her hand on her hip, lips curled just enough to seem wounded. But I'd seen better performances in Afghan street plays. "I need support," she told the judge, voice quivering. $10,000 monthly, for our twins. Our. My ears stopped working after that word. My pulse didn't. It throbbed in my temples as the courtroom blurred, then sharpened. I looked at the twins beside her. Perfectly dressed, big eyes, nervous fingers. I had never seen those children in my life, not once, not in any letter, call, email. And she said they were mine. I sat there in uniform, fourth tour behind me, enemies more honest than the woman I'd once called wife. The judge turned to me. "Sergeant Hale, do you have anything to add?" I didn't speak. I handed him a single folded paper. His eyes scanned the lines once, then again. He didn't look at me, just spoke, cold, flat. "Marshal, lock down this courtroom, now." It started with a letter addressed to me, forwarded from my last base, from a private investigator, not hired by me, by a stranger, a former friend of hers, a man she burned. Inside were photos, dates, a birth certificate. One of the twins was born while I was deployed overseas. The other, 16 months later, still while I was deployed. 2 years, no contact, not even a by the way. And then suddenly, they're yours. It didn't make sense, until it did. Until I found the receipts in my old storage box. IVF clinic, appointment dates, all paid in full, not by me, by him. A man who used to mow our lawn, her second cousin, a man with matching dimples to the kids she now dragged into court as pawns. I stayed calm, let her lawyer serve the papers, played the dutiful ex-husband, never raised my voice. But I started digging, pulled phone records from our final year, cross-referenced hotel stays, her calendar entries, car GPS logs she forgot to erase. Each breadcrumb led me to her deceit, methodical, almost elegant. She'd forged my signature on consent forms, used stored samples illegally. The clinic hadn't verified deployment status, a scandal waiting to explode. And then I remembered something else: military housing privileges, fraudulent filings from dependency pay while I was overseas. That was enough. Enough to involve military command, enough to loop in CID, enough to make sure when I handed the judge that single sheet of paper, I wasn't just proving the twins weren't mine, I was handing over a federal case file. The judge stared at the document. You could hear his throat dry as he swallowed. He read the report aloud. Paternity excluded with 0.00% probability. And then the second paragraph. Subject identified in fraudulent military dependency claim filings from 2017 through 2021. Recommended for federal investigation. Her face drained. Her lawyer backed away. Even the twins looked confused, caught in a war they didn't understand. I watched her try to speak, lips twitching, voice cracking. "But he said he'd claim them." The judge slammed his gavel. "Enough." A door opened behind us. 2 MPs stepped in, slow and steady. Her knees buckled. She never looked at me, not once, not even when they cuffed her. But I stood, calm, composed, a ghost she couldn't scare anymore. As she was led past me, I finally spoke. "You dragged ghosts into court," I said softly. "Now you get to live with yours." Her lawyer didn't speak. He just left everything, files, laptop, even his coat, and walked out. The courtroom emptied in silence. I stood alone in that room for a while. Not proud, not angry, just free. Outside, the sky was gray. I lit a cigarette I hadn't touched in 4 years. Watched the smoke drift. Thought about the years I gave her, the birthdays she let pass, the deployments she barely wrote through. Thought about the kids she lied about. They weren't to blame, but she used them like weapons. And now? She'd spend years explaining those lies to someone else, someone wearing a badge. I wouldn't visit, wouldn't answer her letters. Some truths don't need to be spoken. Some men don't need to scream. They just wait for the right silence and hand the right paper at the right time. I gave her nothing but the truth, and that was enough to ruin her.